It's that time of year to wrap up our evaluations and get those evaluations ready for renewal of contracts. The purpose of today's screencast is for superintendents as they finish up their evaluations on their principals using the LEADS end of the year summative assessments. So today's screencast is going to walk you through those processes and hopefully help you to do that in a very easy manner. So here we are at our Bloomboard account. I'm going to the dashboard. And yours may or may not look like this. If you have a ton of personnel that you oversee or you have access to see, if you'll just type in the search bar to the left, you see that person comes up, and it makes it really easy for you to manage one person. For the sake of the screencast, I'm doing that today. On the left, you can collapse each and every one of all of these activities so that you are just looking at the activity that you need to deal with today. And I'm going to close those out so that all I have are additional artifacts and the LEAD summative end of the year. So I want to talk a little bit about additional artifacts. You need to, if you've not scheduled those for your people, you need to go ahead and schedule those. And those are helpful for your learners in the sense that it provides them one or two more chances to upload artifacts that helps you to have sufficient evidence in order to rate them come the end of the year task. One, it may be that you are lacking in evidence in a certain area and they notice where the gap is, and they might have an artifact or a piece of evidence that would help to fill that void. Two, it could be that throughout the year, as you have done LEADS formative assessments with them, maybe they see that you scored them lower than what they had anticipated, and they have evidence that could show you what they can and are able to do that might move them to an upper level within the rubric. And three, maybe they just have something else that they want to share with you after the year is almost the year has progressed, and they see those things and they think, oh, that would be a great artifact, and I should probably upload that so that my evaluator can see that I am working in a certain area or working to be better in certain areas. So I do recommend that you schedule those additional artifacts. You're going to see in the LEAD summative end of the year, I've scheduled that, and scheduling it is just like any other process. It's just like when you scheduled your LEADS formative assessment. It looks the same. It tells you up here what it is. You pick the calendar, you say the start and end time, you send them an invitation, you schedule it and finish it. Now, I will say that you might want to schedule that individually for each person, and you may want to meet with them face to face. I think we need to work smarter and not harder, and I think this LEAD summative end of the year could totally be done within the Bloomboard platform. And I'm going to show you a little bit about what that looks like, and you can make that decision. Because basically this LEAD summative, a lot of us last year we were thinking, oh, I'm going to be doing a rating at this place. And actually you're not. The LEAD summative end of the year right here, this is more of a reflection piece where you are reflecting on their work, they're reflecting on their work, and you're doing it totally, you're totally taking care of this piece within the Bloomboard platform. So I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to click here, and this is what you see. You see the goals that Karen K. McMahon submitted to you. You see a reflective narrative. You see who's responsible for that. Karen K. McMahon is responsible for that reflective narrative. So there again, it's answering some questions, and it is totally a reflection piece. You have additional artifacts where you can upload additional artifacts specific to this time of the year, much like additional artifacts. And then you have a place for the LEAD summative end of the year. And notice that the evaluator, Marcia Daniels, is responsible for typing those notes. So at this point, you can click on any of these, and it's going to take you to a page where all of those are listed at the top. Goals, reflective narrative, additional documents, and LEAD summative end of the year. So you can go back and look at and reflect upon the goals that learner has worked on this year. if you click on reflective narrative, you're going to see that nothing has been shared that. So what I want to do is I want to pull up an incognito window so that you see what it looks like on the learner side. So I've logged in to my specific account as a learner. I'm going to click on see all activities. And down at the bottom, I see lead summative end of the year. If I click there again, this is what your learner sees, the same thing you do. If I click on reflective narrative, now you're going to see what they see. And this is what your learner sees. What were my successes? What are some remaining and or additional areas to be addressed to enhance my professional growth? And number 3, what have I learned that will impact my future leadership practices? So you want them to complete that. When they finish, they're going to save the draft. When they save the draft, it's going to show up here and you'll be able to see that. All right, moving on. Additional documents, it's just like the ePortfolio. It's just like the additional artifacts. Here they can select documents, artifacts, evidence that are pertinent to this particular time of the year, last minute things that they want to show you, the evaluator, how well they're doing or how well they've worked on their goals or the learning that you had set forth in front of them this year to work on. And then lastly, you have the tab Lead Summative End of the Year, and that's just a place where you're going to take notes. Now yours is probably blank. It is blank. I know it's blank. But I want to suggest to you that you might want to type grow, glow, and next steps. It just kind of gives you some purpose for what this piece of notebook paper is for. It is going to be the preface to our work as we begin on our next PGP for the 2016-2017 school year. And so here under glow, I as the evaluator would type in some examples, some places where I feel like the learner has done an exceptional job. And then under grow, I'm going to type in some places where I felt maybe they missed the mark. I might even type in some questions in an area where maybe I thought they were distinguished, but actually they were proficient. So I might ask a question, what can you do in the future that would help you to move from being proficient to distinguished in order to help them grow and really stretch their thinking around that particular component or that goal or that standard. And then next steps is a place where you're going to help them to come up with things that they need to do next to learn more, grow more, and be a better principal. And so it could be examples of things that you want them to attend or things that you want them to start within their building and in a way to maybe make that happen. Now, I mentioned that I think that you could totally do this lead summative end of the year meeting all within the Bloomboard platform. I don't think you need to sit down and meet face to face on this piece unless you just want to. If you're going to meet face to face, you would schedule a specific date and time. Well, I've already scheduled it on the Bloomboard. I wouldn't schedule another one. I would just send them an email saying, hey, I want to go over this with you, and you guys work out within your calendar system, within your email, a time to sit down and meet with this. Once you meet, you go over this, and the positive piece of meeting face to face is you could totally change some of these answers that you put in the grow and glow and next steps. And then once you finish that meeting, you're going to close it out. It wouldn't be a very long meeting, but we're all busy, and I think you should work smarter and not harder. If I'm not going to meet face to face, I'm going to type this up and I'm going to just close this meeting, and they're going to be able to see it in their platform. So you could just send them an email saying, I finished the lead summative end of the year. Please check your platform and see the notes that I've made in the lead summative end of the year. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, hey, just get with me. Now that takes care of just one piece of the end of the year. And right now, all we can do is this piece. After spring break, or around the middle of March, you're going to see a button pop up right here that's going to say end of year task. And hopefully you remember that from last year. Once that button becomes available, I'll come back and I'll do another screencast for you that will finish up what you need to do for your end of the year task. In the meantime, I'm going to email this screencast to you, and I'm going to email you 2 documents, one of which is a step-by-step directions for completing the end of the year summative pieces. The second it actually is going to be 2 slides from the presentation that Jim and Diane have done with our superintendents that explains a little bit more about evaluations that's coming from the language of the law. So I'll send that to you. As always, if you have questions, comments, concerns, if you need me to come and sit with you and walk you through this process so that you get this down in a timely manner, just call and schedule an appointment, and I'll be more than glad to come in to your school and sit down with you on your computer in a comfortable environment and walk you through this process. That's all for now. Thank you.